We will now learn how to define a function in JavaScript and use it in Angular. So here we have our same click code where we have defined a button and a click. And now on ng click, what are we doing? We are calling a function named click. So with this brackets here, it means we are calling a function. So what are we doing here? We are calling a function named click. So let us see where we have defined it. So this is our script. So in our script, we have defined a function click. And how have we defined it? This is how we would define a function named click. So $scope is equal to dot click. So $scope dot click means this is a function click which will be visible within the whole scope and is a function. And this function does not take any parameters because no parameters have been defined. So what is this function doing? It is saying, it is setting dot scope dot value 1 is equal to new value. So within this app, we have defined a variable value 1 which has scope, which had the value old value. Now whenever this function is called, it is changing its value to new value. So what will happen here in this case is initially we will see old value as being printed on the screen, and when we click on the button, this function will be called and this function will change the value to new value, and hence we will see new value. And then even if we click it more times, the value will remain new value, so we will continue to see new value. So let us run this code and see. So here we are seeing the click button and old value. Now when I click on it, what should happen? It has become new value. Now any number of times I click on it, it will remain new value. Why? Because in the function we set the value of value 1 to new value and then it remains the same. Suppose we want to now put in a slightly more complex function wherein we change some variable every time. So let us see what we are doing here. Here we have added another variable counter with scope for the whole scope and initialized it to 0. And what are we doing in the click function? We are incrementing counter every time. So we are saying $scope dot counter plus plus. So which means counter will become counter plus 1 every time. And then we are printing value 1 and counter. So initially value 1 is old value and counter is equal to, and counter is 0. So what should get printed is old value, counter is equal to 0. When we click on the button, what will happen? This function will get called, this function here, and value 1 will become new value, counter equal to, and counter will now become counter plus plus. So first it will become 1, and now when we keep on clicking the button, counter will keep on increasing. So we will see new value, counter is equal to 1, new value, counter is equal to 2, and so on. Let us run the code and see what will happen. So we have initially old value, counter is equal to 0 as we expected. And now when I click on it the first time, it's become new value and counter is equal to 1. And now as we keep on clicking on it, our counter is getting incremented and we are continuously seeing that happen. So here in this example, we defined a function named click, and when did it get invoked? The function got invoked whenever we clicked on this button. So on the ng click we linked it and we were able to modify values and keep on displaying those values in our code.